Let's talk about the secrets of online freelancing success. There are a number of things that we need to give attention to, and let me just tell you quickly what I'm going to be doing during this video. The first is I'm just going to look at the benefits of online freelancing as compared to employment and as compared to starting a business, online or otherwise. Then I'm going to look at why it's becoming hard to break into the online freelancing world. And then I'm going to look at your context, the importance of your context, your circumstances, your skills and your talents when you approach online freelancing and start to establish yourself in it. Then I'm going to look at the surprise benefits of choosing a good niche. I'm going to look at how to actually create sustainable success by focusing on the value of what you deliver. Then I'm going to look at the 3 phases of development and professional development that's necessary to build a substantial online freelancing career. And lastly, I'm going to look at the ultimate career path incorporating online freelancing, but actually blurring the lines between remote employment, online freelancing, and online business. So let's get started. Let's look at the benefits of online freelancing when compared to an employed position or starting a business. What is the difference is probably the first thing I need to answer. Well, when you are employed, you have a certain skill set, you've got a certain job description, and you deliver services to a specific company and they pay you a salary for that. So you are employed and you have an employment agreement. Freelancing is very different. You can offer that very same service to multiple companies while you are independent of them. And you can do this online through online freelancing platforms, which means you can build a global client base. And many people have stepped away from employment into the freelancing model and build a far more substantial career than what they could ever do in an employment situation, because you're literally in control of what you offer to whom. So you do what you love, you work for whom you want to work, and you provide the exact service that you want to provide to multiple customers. It's very close to starting an online business because, of course, you're an independent worker, so you need to do your own financial management and all of those things. But it's very different in the sense that you do not normally have to do all the upfront investment of a startup company. There's not a lot of prior development. You can actually use the online freelancing platforms to start to earn fairly quickly. Now let's look at why is it hard to break into online freelancing. It never used to be hard. Initially, when the freelancing platform started in the early 2000s, it was actually quite easy to become a freelancer and to start to offer services internationally. The thing was that there was very limited possibilities for you. It was only a few industry sectors that actually became popular online, like creative industries and IT. But now, courtesy of COVID, you can do almost anything that you can do in an office environment. You can do online and a whole lot more than what you can do. But at the same time, many more people are now wanting to become freelancers, and many more businesses are starting to make use of freelancers. That creates the variety, but it also creates a far more competitive environment to break into the market. And because so many people are now working online, if you come in and you want to establish yourself, you're competing with people from all over the world, the same skills, and already having completed projects with good client feedback on their profile. So it's really hard to break into a market and you've got very little to compete on. How do you counter this? Let's look at the importance of your context, your specific circumstances, and your skills and talents. You need to take all of these things into account when you decide to become an online freelancer. Let's look at your context. It matters where you live. It matters where you pay tax. Let me explain. People who live in countries with really weak currencies, they have a far broader spectrum of things that they could do successfully online and build a substantial income from within their context. People who live in countries with strong currencies have a far more limited number of things that they can do online, but they've got the benefit that they can usually start with a higher hourly rate initially and still get enough clients to see them through to success. So you have, based on your context, a set of benefits that you can make use of and a set of constraints that you need to take into account. And it's different based on, and I've just mentioned at this moment, your currency, where you live, the cost of living where you live. Something else, of course, that you need to take into account is the time zone that you are in and what types of online freelancing you do. Does it require of you to be available at certain specific times in another time zone, and is that during the night for you, is that during the day? So there are a wider range of things that you need to take into account when you decide what you want to do online and where you are going to look for your clients. Let's look at your circumstances. Do you want to travel? Do you want to stay at home? Are you a home carer? Can you be available certain times of the day? You need to map out your circumstances that will impact on your freelancing career. Do you have good internet connection? Do you have a home office, a dedicated home office? Do you only have a laptop that you need to take somewhere where there's a good internet? So all of these things will impact on what type of freelancing you can choose to focus on. For instance, if you do not have a dedicated home office, and you live in a very noisy environment, you probably don't want to focus your niche on something that requires you to be live online with people, especially if you live in a place where there's constant movement and you can't actually control the situation. However, if you have a quiet place, whether or not you've got an office, you may just have your phone or you may just have a laptop, then you can actually do freelancing that would require of you a whole lot of interaction online. And if you then also choose your clients well, so that you actually have some overlap in hours where your client is working and you are working, you can really build a really good online freelancing world for yourself. Of course, it also matters what skills you have, what talents you have, and you take that into account when you choose what you're going to do online. But if you've never worked online, those are probably going to have to adapt anyway, and you may want to do some development of finding out that thing that I used to do very well in the office, how can I do that in the online world? And there's likely to be some upskilling, some reskilling, some relearning, some unlearning that you need to do. Let's look at the benefits of choosing a good niche. Because online freelancing is becoming so competitive, it is really important that you choose a niche and you have a strategy to actually break into that niche. Let me explain. Many people, when they feel uncertain and they come into freelancing for the first time, they feel, I'm going to do something that's easy, assuming that it will therefore also be easy to find online work. And I'm talking about things like, I'm going to do transcription, I'm going to do data entry, I'm going to do this stuff that I can see when I search online. Many people are wanting that and many people are doing that. Well, first of all, artificial intelligence is probably going to take over this world and your income is going to be capped as a result of that. But furthermore, because it's a low-skilled environment, there are literally millions and millions and millions of people who already do that or want to do that. So you do not want to enter that market, because while there's a whole lot of opportunity, it is incredibly competitive and it doesn't pay much. So it's going to take you a whole lot of effort to break into the market, and then your income is going to be capped at a very low rate. And depending, once again, on the exchange rate of your country, that may or may not be a problem. But why not choose better from the start? Why not identify an area that you are really good at and you can do it online? And then you check up front. So what is the entry hourly rate and how high can I go with the hourly rate once I am fully successful and fully established? Because then you use your time initially wisely and you choose something which is not as flooded as the low-skilled freelancing activities. Let me give you an example. I have a friend who wanted to become a freelancer, and she's decided she's going to start with writing because she really writes very well in a business context. She did that, and she made all the effort to break into the market of freelancing to establish herself as a writer online, and she did really well. But after a few months, she came back and she said, well, this is not working for me, because in my country, the top hourly rate that I can charge for the type of writing that I do is lower than the minimum wage in my country. So what do I do? And then she had to rethink her niche, and what she did was she specialized more narrowly on an area of writing that has a far lower volume of people wanting to offer it, but she can charge a higher hourly rate. And then she started to carve out for herself a client base in that world. Now, she had a smaller pool of potential clients, but she also had a much smaller pool of competitors. It did take a while, but that helped her to break through the low hourly rate problem. The one thing that I would say about a niche is when you want to become an online freelancer, there's a whole raft of things that you will find online. When you search online, you will find a vast array of earning money online by watching YouTube channels, by typing stuff, by doing surveys online, etc., etc. Here's the thing. They pay very little. They are very competitive. It's hard to break into them, and it is still the most scammy part of online freelancing. So you can really value your time by rather identifying a niche where you can build a substantial online freelancing career without focusing on having to spend a whole lot of hours for very little income. Online freelancing has become a viable career path. In fact, it is possibly becoming a better career path if you want to develop your career than full-time employment. But then you need to choose well and you need to do it well. It is all about the value you deliver, and that is the next thing we are going to look at. In the online world, there are no barriers, there are no constraints. Geographically, with gender, with age, there are none. The only thing your clients are interested in is, do you deliver value? Do you deliver what they want? Do you wow them by giving them way more than what they anticipated because of the excellence of your service? Therefore, it is really important that you are on top of your game in the area that you want to specialize in. So constant upskilling, constant learning, constantly looking for new trends, new developments is something you have to do for as long as you are a freelancer. It's a very exciting world, but it also keeps you on your toes professionally. There are actually 3 phases of developing a substantial online freelancing career. So let's look at that next. The first phase is when you just start out. It is a really, I almost want to say horrible phase. You need to charge a lower hourly rate than what you are used to. You struggle to find your first clients because you are competing with others with the same skills and they already have evidence of delivering success on their profile because of past projects that they completed. You have got absolutely nothing because you're just starting out. So it's really difficult to break into the market. And you are not skilled at putting forward proposals for work that are successful. You need to learn that skill. So you have a really high failure rate of putting forward proposals for projects that are not successful. And that can be really demotivating, and that does put many people off. However, you need to treat this phase as a basic professional development phase, where it's not about how much money you make. It is about how much you can improve as you move forward from one proposal to the next, because you are literally busy with the basics of the professional development necessary for freelancing. And you need to approach it with that mindset. It isn't how you want to work for the rest of your life. Many people, most people, give up during this phase, and it is a mistake, because once you have those basic skills, you move into a fast-growing phase where you quite easily expand your income, your clients, what you focus on online, to do exactly what you love, to earn more and to work fewer hours. It's an exciting phase of freelancing, but you only get there if you, see it through the first, which is a very difficult phase. Now that fast-growing phase is really, really exciting, and that is where you start to reap the benefits of the efforts that you've put in the first phase, where you develop the skills of being a good freelancer. But it also comes to an end because it starts to taper off, because as a freelancer, you are still essentially selling hours, and then you enter the third phase when that tapering off starts to happen, where you can literally look, now you have done the professional development, you are now an expert with working online, you have gone through everything, you have experienced the growth, so you have more resources, more freedom to actually sit back and think, so what is the future that I want to live? And then you actually use online freelancing to build the future that you want to live. Like, for instance, I want to use it to earn a passive income. I don't just want to sell my own hours at all times. And there's a whole raft of possibilities that you can then start to explore. The problem is, even though at that point you can really earn much more than you can ever do in online employment, you have to move through phase 1 and then phase 2 to reach that point. It is at this point where you start to develop a portfolio career, where you start to blur the lines between remote employment, maybe part-time, online freelancing, and even maybe starting an online business on the side, and you start to diversify your income streams, with the result that your income is becoming far more stable, far more substantial. And here's the thing. There are no ceilings, there are no barriers, because you have entered a global market, and for that reason you can grow it and expand it as much as you want to give you the lifestyle that you want. Online freelancing really is an exciting way to enter the online world. It does require initially that you see it through. Do not treat the first phase of online freelancing as an income source. Treat it as a professional development pathway for which you also earn a little bit of money. And then you will really get to the second phase where it becomes exciting. And then in the third phase, you can start to build a future that's substantially better than what employment could ever give you. And you earn more and you work fewer hours. Online freelancing is an exciting future career option for professionals who are proactive, ambitious, and want to build a substantial career. But you need to see it through. It's never easy in the beginning. It is becoming very competitive. And that is specifically why we offer a coaching program, is to help you choose well what you want to do based on who you are, your circumstances, your skills and talent. Choose something that can give you an income that will see you through not only the first phase of the real hard work with slow momentum, but also help you when you reach the growth phase to grow substantially, and then also to help you engage with this online world when you reach the third phase to actually build the future life you want to live. It is an exciting possible future career option, but you need to understand that it isn't what you want it to be from day one. Just like when you go to university, you're preparing for a career, you need to look at the first phase of freelancing where you really struggle to earn a lot of money because you need to put your hourly rate as low as possible so that you can break into the market. You really struggle to do proposals that are successful for work because you just don't know, you haven't learned the skill yet, and therefore your income is very low when you spend a whole lot of money. You need to treat that as training, as professional development, and not look at it as a source of income. Once you've earned about 4,000 to 5,000 online, you're well and truly entering the second phase, and then you can grow it, and based on what you've chosen as your niche, and that is why we help people to choose a good niche that will take that growth phase high up, because the top hourly rate that you can charge in that particular niche has sufficient leverage for you to grow a substantial income. And then once you've done that, you can say, well, now I don't want to sell my hours again. I want to build a career around this freelancing that incorporates things like passive income and a whole range of other things. You can even use it as a vehicle to start an online business. And many of our members mix and match remote employment with online freelancing, with an online business, and they build a number of substantial online income streams. Online freelancing is the future of work. And here is why I'm saying that. At the time of making this video, National Geographic, a global magazine, a well-established magazine, read all over the globe, recently made all their in-house writers redundant. Why? Because they want to work with freelancers. They want the more flexible workforce of freelancers so that they have a broader choice of skills and talent. And they are just one of the early adopters of online remoting as a future career. What do you get when you use online freelancing as your career option? You get the freedom to choose what you want to do. You do what you love, who you want to work for. You do not have to adapt your life to your work anymore. You can now choose what life you want to live, and then you use freelancing to have that life. And what is more, you can focus it on your values, your priorities, what you want to achieve. It is a fantastic career, but because of phase 1, very few people see it through to phase 3, and I encourage you to do that. You can contact us because we specifically help freelancers to work through every one of these phases, make the right choices, so when they arrive in phase 2 and phase 3, they see significant growth that takes them way beyond what they expected initially. There are some links in the description box. Make use of them to engage with us if you want more information, if you want to engage with us to build your online freelancing career substantially at a pace and create the type of success that you want for the lifestyle that you want. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel. Please click like, because that helps us to make more videos like this. The links to engage with us, to get more information, to find out more about Remotania coaching is in the description box below.